At any rate, I wanted to make a few comments about Pizzagate. And first, I'd like to draw sort of a correlation between Obama's birth certificate, Monica Lewinsky, and Pizzagate, and what they all have in common. And so, starting with Obama's birth certificate, I am of the opinion that Obama, his handlers, the people who manage his affairs and everything, they could have given him a birth certificate that was convincing. But I personally believe that they put the doctored-looking birth certificate online, used it as his proof on purpose, because then if anybody went after his birth certificate, they could then follow they could lead the conversation, lead the public opinion in the direction that, the birth certificate stuff's just a bunch of bullshit, and people who bring it up are racist, or they are, just how shameful it's our first black president kind of thing. So that way, if real questions about Obama's origin came up, or questions about what was going on in his earlier life, because a lot of it's really kind of off the wall, they could always revert back to, oh, this is just like the birth certificate thing, and discredit anybody who brought it up. They're conspiracy theorists, they're racist, they're this, they're that, whatever. Monica Lewinsky. That's not what Bill Clinton should have been impeached for. That is not. The public was looking at Monica Lewinsky, and it wasn't even about Monica Lewinsky. I mean, yeah, he lied under oath and he slept with, was doing stuff in the Oval Office or whatever, but the point is that wasn't the big stuff. Bringing up Monica Lewinsky was a way to sort of make Bill Clinton, if necessary, sort of a sacrificial lamb in order to save everybody else from exposure. Because Chinagate was really the big issue, and I really recommend that you read The Year of the Rat. And Coulter's also covered the issues with China and the Clintons and treason and bribery, and it's all really, really bad. So everybody got, fixated on Monica Lewinsky. Now, why would we think that there'd be any difference with Pizzagate? Because we have a lot of confirmed facts about Pizzagate. Plenty of things that point to the fact that there's something, we've got Jeffrey Epstein. We have enough hard proof that something perverted and twisted is going on in Washington. We don't need Pizzagate to prove it. Now, Pizzagate is a catchy name, though, and it gets a lot of attention. But it's probably there to deflect and get people's attention focused so that when information does come out, and when investigations are done into the pedophile ring in our government, then people will refer it back to Pizzagate and say it's all scam and a conspiracy. So my personal opinion is that we can come up with plenty of things that we could expose that are facts, that have hard evidence, without resorting to Pizzagate. Because now it's like the Obama birth certificate or Monica Lewinsky. No one gives a damn anymore. No one who really thinks too much about things is going to actually listen to that too much. And I think that's what it's meant to do. So I'll just read off directly what I commented about it. Does anyone here actually doubt that if Obama needed a real birth certificate, that the powers that be could have commissioned the creation of a legitimate-looking birth certificate, as well as supplement county or government records and any other archives with a paper trail of supporting evidence? They could have made it appear very convincing if they'd wanted to. Things like this have surely been accomplished for less powerful people than the United States president. So this begs the question, why did Obama's handlers devise to release a notably doctored document to the public instead of releasing a legitimate-looking birth certificate and avoiding all the trouble in the first place? This is what I think. Because they recognize that providing a doctored-looking document would provide a means of manipulating the flow of public opinion and perception. The scandal generated by the birth certificate was morphed into the argument that only a racist would question the authenticity and the origins of our first black president. And nobody should be above questioning, by the way. After that, any other scandal about Obama's origins and early life would be shut down by simply referring back to the birth certificate scandal, with the effect that the questioner be disregarded and labeled a conspiracy theorist racist. Think of the Podesta emails as evidence that suggests guilt, but not evidence that is admissible in any court. Not even in the court of public opinion, really. The Podesta emails provide outside confirmation of something that we already know is going on in our government. Some nasty, twisted sex ring. They can even lead us to the right line of questioning, but they are not the hard evidence we need if we want to bring these guys down. Who came up with the term Pizzagate? You ever notice how people pay more attention to the term Pizzagate than they do to the name Jeffrey Epstein? It makes me wonder if Pizzagate was not created, or at least being used effectively to deflect from the truth. The same way Monica Lewinsky was used to deflect from the truth, the same way Obama's birth certificate was used to deflect from the truth. And if that's the case, there's a few things we should think about. And so I wrote this on the Michael Trim show. And I quoted a video that I could put a little clip of it up here, but basically I wanted to toss something out there and see if anybody responds. This is a quote by an author by the name of William Norman Grigg. And he says, if Bill Clinton had been forced out of office as a result of the Lewinsky scandal, the damage would have been limited to him. He was disposable to that extent, but if there had been serious attention paid in Congress and by the public to the implications of the Chinagate bribery and treason scandal, there was a whole host of institutions vital to the power elite that would have been implicated. So that's William Norman Grigg. So this is what I say. What if the same goes for Pizzagate as went for Lewinsky? The Lewinsky scandal had some truth to it, but it was a little tiny little piece of the picture. It wasn't the whole picture. It wasn't what we needed to know about. It had just a, if you've ever heard people say the best lie has a little grain of truth in it. Is it possible that Pizzagate is there just to distract the public's attention and protect our power elite from exposure? So my challenge would be, at the bottom of this video, if you've researched anything where there's hard evidence of the child sex ring, say we know about Jeffrey Epstein, we know that he filmed all those things for blackmail that were going on his island. There's a lot of things we do know about. So, on that note, what hard evidence do we have right now that we could be focusing on instead of Pizzagate? And if you do even just a little bit of research into something you maybe know about, and write about it directly below this video. And, not like, you can put little comments if you want. You could do whatever you want. But rather than just the little comments here and there, how about, you post some research on a subject relating to this, on a specific area, and just post it below this video. And create information that can be put together that can be proven. Anyways, thank you so much. I've actually kind of missed talking to you guys, and there's some really sweet people who write on here, and very intelligent people who comment on this YouTube channel, and I've enjoyed debating with you and disagreeing with you and agreeing with you. And I think we're heading to some better times, because I do think that the Democratic Party is toast. I think they're done for. They're just trying to create the illusion that they're still viable, but they're not. And I think that the Republicans, as we know it, will be reformatted as well. So all the people who were pro-Jill Stein, or pro-Gary Johnson, or pro-independent third party, or sick and tired of the two-party duopoly, I think there needs to be a balance of powers. Whether that's two powers or more, they need to not be on the same team regardless. But this is the best chance that an independent candidate is ever going to have coming up in 4 years. And I know a lot of people are saying, Trump, give him 8 years to do what he's going to do. No, you never tell any president, we're going to give you that 8 years no matter what. Because then they just do what Obama did. And I'm not saying Trump's an angel. The reality is, he would have to earn being reelected in 4 years, and he'd have to earn it really well. You never take away that competition. That's why we have elections every 4 years. Keeps people on the straight and narrow, hopefully. Anyways, also I do value the opinions of people. My own son posted a video the other day, and he needed to talk a little more clearly, but he's still, he really thought about it, and he disagrees with me all the time. He's way more conservative than I am. He's way more leaning to the Republican libertarian side, and I'm kind of sort of moderate. I have views on both sides of the spectrum. But then, I think of George Washington, and when he was president, he appointed both Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton into the executive branch. And Jefferson was for small government. I guess you'd say he was a libertarian of sorts. He wanted an agrarian society, whatnot. Well, Hamilton wanted big government. Why would George Washington put these two opposites together? Because there was a need to have a balance. Because to me, I know some people call this socialism, but to me, to have a first world country and be the United States, and if we were ever to do something like the Philippines do, where I've known people from the Philippines, I knew an RN, and when she was training, she was out with the paramedics, and she said if somebody got hit by a car, they're laying in the street dying, they would have to have their insurance number, or they would leave them in the street. Now, should that be happening in America? No. Of course, we need some kind of default health coverage for everyday people. Now, some people call that socialism, but I call it an embarrassment if you're a first world country and you allow children and elderly and people to just sit and waste away, and that's embarrassing. Come on, that's common sense. Sometimes when you have a bigger country, you might need a bigger government in some aspects. On other things, I'm more to the libertarian side or the small government side. To me, it all depends on what the subject is. But anyways, it's really good to see you guys again. Take care, and let me know your thoughts below. Thank you. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, put those below too. And I actually will look into it and consider it. Thank you.